Okay, Ben, I think we are now officially live on air. How are you?
Hello.
You all right?
Very well, thank you, Richard. Yeah, how are you?
Well, yeah, very good indeed. At time of
Good.
recording, it's the 8th of January. It's still socially acceptable to say Happy New Year? Is that what?
Yeah, people still seem to say it here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Happy New Year to
Yeah. Well,
you.
I think we've got another week or so until people get a little bit thin on that, don't they? Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But thank you, thanks for your time, Ben. Thanks so much. So what I wanted to just is just have a little quick chat with you about the website and stuff. I had a little look, and you guys came on board July 2022, so sort of 2.5 years. You've been with us. So I would say you're a relatively new customer. I'm going to call you a new customer of Kontrolit. Do you want to first introduce yourself and then Team Software? What Team Software do? What you're about? Sort of frame it up first, and then we'll sort of run through a few things with you.
Yeah, sure. Well, my name's Ben Grave. I'm the commercial director at Team Software. We've been going for about 14 years, and
Mm,
we basically produce software for the asbestos market. So it's an asbestos management tool. And it helps consultancies manage the full process. So from booking
mm,
appointments to managing the surveyor's diaries to doing the surveys, creating the reports, basically everything we say from cradle to grave that they would go through
mm,
in
mm.
terms of managing asbestos. And it's still a massive issue in the UK. We've got
Yeah.
some very large customers that have huge sites that are peppered with different sections which include asbestos, and all has to be managed properly.
Mm.
And those clients need to rely on those systems really well. Obviously, have to be very reliable systems that manage those locations. So that's what we do in a nutshell. We
Mm.
largely deal with consultancies, but we also deal with anyone that's got a large housing stock or large property stock that has historically had asbestos in, and that can range from, I guess, large housing associations to
Mm.
large supermarket chains, those kind of
Yeah,
people. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a wide range of client base.
It's quite important with any customer that comes on board. There's an element of us learning as quickly as possible about your industry. I
Mm.
was blown away to learn about this. I suspect you get this all the time with people that aren't in the trade or don't know anything about it. I was blown away with the amount of asbestos that's still around. It's a long-term big problem, isn't it, for the UK?
Absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
but would I'll be fair to say you guys are quite the dominant force in the sort of management. You've been around for so long. You've got quite a big chunk of the sort of UK market share. Would that be fair?
Yeah, absolutely. There are, I guess, two major players in this field. Obviously, it's a very niche software
Yeah,
solution,
yeah, sure.
and it's complex. So I guess the barrier
Mm,
to entry for a lot of people, it's almost to some software companies, it's not worth kind of even looking at. But
sure.
it's such a complicated software solution and has to be so robust, and it's a
Mm,
very niche market. So we're kind of protected a bit from that point of view.
mm,
But one thing I think you just mentioned there, actually, Richard, you took you spent some time to get to know the industry and get to know the company and some of the
yeah.
barriers we were facing. And I think that's one of the first things that gave me absolute confidence, I guess, in your services,
Oh, that's
because
cool.
I guess you asked all the right questions and you were
Yeah.
actually interested in learning about the industry, and it actually meant that you created a better website. I guess you were looking to create a website that actually met what our customers needed, and that
Yeah, that
was peace of mind.
yeah, no, thanks for that. That's really kind. Yeah, I suppose one of the things we like to think that we distinguish ourselves from the rest of the pack is there's quite a lot of upfront, the onboarding bit. We have to. And I was just looking through the files before you came on board. We created a couple of personas of a typical customers. You've got
Yeah.
enterprise customers and you've got generic customers. So there's a lot of information uploading, and of course. Both myself and the people in the digital marketing department end up learning everything about asbestos and all that sort of stuff. But you're right. you need the information up front because it flows through. Your website can't be everything to everybody. It's got to be in line. It's got to look and feel and operate, and the content has to be in line with your typical customers. So what
Yeah.
was life like then? So that's a good sort of entry point then. What was life like before Kontrolit came along? Who did the website before? What was it? What was lacking? What did you guys need?
Yeah, I mean, largely we're obviously a software company. We've got various different techie people here, and we basically made their website ourselves. And it's like it's that age-old sort of situation where you create something, and it's probably fit for purpose at the time, but you never really get round to updating it and changing it and looking after it properly. And often I find in that situation, you have someone that creates the website internally,
Yeah.
and everything then has to channel through that person, which means it's difficult to get things
Yes.
updated. We're all busy
Yeah.
people, you know, that I guess that's not our main job, creating websites. So
No.
when we do it internally, it means that it has to go for that one person. Whereas I was keen to find a solution that meant I could update it personally,
Yeah.
other members of the team could update it without causing issues for one or two people in the team. So that was kind of where we came from. The website was dated, to say the least. It didn't have all the content. We'd obviously, our product development in terms of team software had moved on a fair bit, but the website hadn't kept up with that pace. So it was keen. I was keen also to include a decent knowledge hub. So, you know, we got a lot of information here. The website needed somewhere for us to actually kind of be a knowledge center for the industry, I guess. And that's what the update has done.
Yeah, and that's quite, it's interesting you say that, because that's quite the bottleneck of internally when you do it. We come across a lot of people that sort of started off doing it themselves. And yes, it can look a little bit ugly, and then a new web company comes in, but it's not necessarily about the cosmetic side of things. It's quite often there's a lot more to do that. There's lots of industry, there's lots of technology that changes, and then of course you got that classic case of a bottleneck. You know, one person or one individual's updating, and if they're busy, it doesn't get done. So it's an interesting concept. So that's quite interesting. Is that one of the things that we spent a long time on was working out the structure of the site and how you would keep it from going rusty again, wasn't it? So it was interesting. So actually content was really key. Now this was quite an interesting project for us, because you guys are techie. You're a bit like us. We're techie on techie, so we know what to do. And you had a very functionable working website. There was nothing particularly wrong with it from a technical perspective, but you're right, probably aesthetically it didn't look the greatest and needed a lick of paint in that regards. But what you guys were missing was the understanding it from the user's point of view. I'm an enterprise customer, so one of the two different personas you had. Where do I go to get my information, etc., etc. So yeah, we spent a long time, didn't we, working through what would this type of customer want, what would that type of customer want, and getting the language right. That was quite important. One of the things I was impressed though is you got quite a strong branding. Maybe as you're chatting in a minute, I'll share my screen and just flick through the website. But you got quite a strong branding element as well. So that was quite important as well, wasn't it? So how did you? So that was kind of cool. And we spent a long time up front and stuff. What was some of the key? So listening obviously was key. You just mentioned before. What were some of the key things that you liked about the Kontrolit system or the approach or whatever? And how does that feel now, a couple of years on? And how does that sort of relationship, sort of partnership, feel for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, one, we always find you very responsive. I think I had to email Dan on something else a couple of days ago, and I think I had a response very quickly within about half an hour. So, and you know, you always provide the information that we need quickly. So I guess I feel like it's a reliable partnership. You don't always find that in business. The people that you, companies that you deal with, you know, might not respond so quickly, and it might not necessarily be a full answer. But I always have confidence that whether I speak to you or Dan or Mandy or anyone, I'm going to get a good solid response. So that's kind of peace of mind again from that point of view.
That's cool. I'm just flicking through the website. Of course,
Yeah,
one thing that's
that looks good.
one thing. Well, thank
I
you very
haven't
much.
looked on it for a while, so
Yeah. Well, one thing that's important to mention is asbestos is the key market that you're in, but you actually do Legionnaire software as well, which is the sort of the water problem in
I
simple
guess
terms, isn't it?
yeah, I guess, and that's the other thing. Although we've focused on asbestos for a while, there are other areas of compliance, and I guess the website will need to morph and grow and develop as we look at obviously Legionella or fire safety or whatever it might be.
Yes.
We need to be able to scale the website, so that was key.
Yeah, and one of the key things that we built for you was, I'm just looking at it now, is a showcase feature. So this is we took the brief from you and then worked out that you would not only have service pages to show off what your product does and that sort of stuff, a blog and all the usual stuff. But one of the things that's slightly different, we thought, well, hang on a minute. If other potential customers are landing on your website, they will want to see other people in their tribe. This is classically, I want to see if I'm an enterprise customer, I want to see other enterprise examples or whatever. So this is the stuff that's evolving over time. I know you're working with one of our partners at the moment, aren't you? For some video content, you've gone out to a large customer. I don't know if I can say that customer to do a video shoot as well. So I think that's in the pipeline, isn't it? Is that due to come on live soon then?
It absolutely is. All the filming's done. We're
Cool.
just getting sign off from that particular company or
Cool.
organization. So we're pretty close, I think, to that. So hopefully
Yeah.
that will be on the showcase fairly soon, but it's not there at the moment.
No, and so you got that. I mean, that's one way of getting good, relevant, updated content, which is good for SEO and good for the user experience. And then, of course, you got the blog there as well. So interestingly, so yeah, we did all the technical stuff. We did a customized particular showcase module for you guys, and we spent a long time looking at the usability and stuff, and then we sort of plugged in all the reporting. But one of the things that I'd say is quite unique about you guys, let me just stop sharing my screen now, is we we talked about SEO, didn't we? We talked about sort of what we would call digital marketing and aspects of that. But you guys are so good at what you do, and you've got lots of sort of techie people, and you were quite comfortable creating new content as well. I remember it was quite unique. You said, we need SEO help. We need a bit of a boost, but then we want you wanted us to train you on how to do it and just keep you online. So from memory, we did an intensive sort of 3-6 months. I forget the period of like an SEO package for you. So we made back links coming in, updated the content, optimized, fine-tuned all that stuff on the website. And now we are in what we probably like what I call a consultative service, aren't we? Where we stand behind you with a big stick once a month to tell you what
Yeah.
So how did you find that? Was that sort of flexible to your needs? How's that working for you guys?
Yeah, that was really good actually. That's a good point, Richard, because yeah, we did need yeah, we have got people here that can probably do some of it, but we're not keeping up to date on all the modern
Sure.
way of doing things. So I
Yeah.
guess we kind of need to rely on you. And I think from our point of view, because it is such a niche market and we're already fairly dominant, have got a reasonable amount of heritage, I guess we already feature fairly well with some of the SEO. So for
Yeah.
us, it didn't seem to make a lot of sense having a full SEO package because we're kind of a lot of it's already done and baked
Yeah.
in. So we just felt like we needed to just keep on top of it really. And obviously Mandy has
Mm.
done that. You're right, we had that sort of 3 months intensive getting the website really structured properly.
Mm.
And then after that we have a meeting with Mandy every quarter,
Cool.
and every month,
Yeah.
and she just sort of just keeps on top of things really, and gives us a list of things to go away and do. We
Just
invariably
sets you have some homework.
basically, and we invariably don't do it and come back and she tells us off the next month. So
Yeah,
but
no.
we're getting better, I think. And
But
like I
that's a
said,
that's a really unique situation. I always say to people, yes, we do digital marketing and SEO and all that sort of stuff. But it's not right for everybody. Sometimes you can be a startup and you don't need to be a world beater in the world of search engines or whatever. And in your case, quite rarely, you are a massive dominant player in the market. You just need it topped up. Your
yeah,
main focus is dealing with these big enterprise customers because they need to they don't know there's a solution out there that
Correct, yeah.
that can solve their problems, and that's what we need to focus on. So the best way to get those people is basically to blog about it, keep the content fine-tuned, and then start rolling out more and more showcase examples of those people on that sort of scale and stuff. So that's cool. Okay, well that's really interesting. I didn't know that. Obviously, none of this is planned. I try and keep these calls as natural as possible. I never quite knew the reasons for you guys coming on board. So let's look to the future then. What's the future for Team Software? What's sort of coming down the pipeline in the next year or two?
Yeah, as you mentioned there, enterprise clients is our focus, probably on the next 12 months to 18 months. We've got a handful of clients which we've picked up that we haven't necessarily marketed to get, but we feel that actually if we gave it a bit of a push, we could see quite a lot of development there. So they are the likes of your I guess your big supermarket chains, airports,
Right.
whatever it might be, places that historically have had a bit of an issue with asbestos, and often public buildings. So that's our main focus. Someone's just knocked on the door here, Richard. That's a bit annoying, isn't it?
That's all right. Well, let's wrap it up there. I think that's good enough. I appreciate your time, Ben. I know you're a busy man, but no, thanks for the feedback. And yeah, we'll just it's an interesting journey, isn't it? So I'm looking forward to seeing how many more enterprise customers you can bag in 2025.
Well, yeah, I'm hoping we can sort of add a few to the number for sure. So, and thanks for all your help, Richard.
Yeah, no problem.
Like I said, it's always a pleasure working with you, and sort of having these meetings have been sort of pleasurable over the years. So, thanks for all your help.
Cheers, Ben. Thanks very much. Take care. Enjoy your day.
Cheers.